Hi everyone, it's Evan Langert with the Langert Commercial Group, and today I'd like to discuss with you the all-important difference between the rent for a particular space and the occupancy cost for that particular space. First, let's cover the concept of rent. It can be very straightforward. If you're in an office building and you're under a full-service gross lease, and if you don't understand the lease terms, I'll refer you to my other module on different types of leases. But if you have $35 a square foot in a full service gross lease and a 3,000 square foot space, then your rent is 35 times 3,000. That's for the first year. You can calculate the increases over your term and you can come up with the rent for the entire term. If you have a triple net lease, say a shopping center, and it's $35 a square foot, but you're also paying $7.50 a square foot for your triple net expenses, then the rent is the $35 base rent plus the $7.50 in triple net expenses, and then you multiply that times your 3,000 square feet, and that is your rent for that particular property for the first year. And again, you can calculate the increases in your rent over the lease term and come up with the entire rental amount for your lease term. So, how does rent differ from occupancy costs? Well, in addition to you paying a certain amount of rent, a landlord might grant you some of what we call concessions, and they can come in a few different forms. One, the landlord might give you a free rent. Usually that's at the beginning of your lease term, but not always. If a landlord doesn't want to take the hit all at once, they might give you some up front and disperse the rest of it throughout the lease term. But that's a concession. And if you have 6 months free rent, just as an example, then you're really not paying $35 a square foot when you calculate the amount of money that you're paying over the course of the lease term. So that's one type of concession. Another one is a tenant improvement allowance. Landlords will frequently, if the term is long enough and the credit is good, give a certain amount of dollars per square foot to a tenant for the tenant to construct its improvements in the premises. So if a landlord gives you 25 or 35, and depending on whether the premises is in second generation already built out space form or whether it's a raw shell that's never been built out and it's just concrete floors and stubbed in pipes, it can be $50 higher, 60, 70, I've seen even 80. And so if a landlord gives you $50 a square foot times 3,000, that's another $150,000 that you're getting a benefit. And that has to be factored in with the $35 rent or the 35 plus $750 if you're doing a triple net lease. Instead of giving you a certain number of dollars per square foot, the landlord might actually do some or all of the work for you. If they do all the work for you, it's what we call a turnkey build out. But in any event, you need to look at the dollars that the landlord expends in doing that work, and you can usually pull that from the construction estimates that the landlord gets and the estimate of the contractor that they chose. Sometimes the prices are a little higher, less often a little bit lower when everything's said and done. And then you need to attribute the value of the work that the landlord puts in to your space, because that's all money that you don't have to pull out of pocket. So I have too often seen tenants that are myopically focused on the rent. Like, well, this is $30 a square foot, and that's cheaper than this, which is $35 a square foot. So I should go into this space that's $5 cheaper. Well, realistically, you have to look at everything. Somebody could have a rent that's $5 cheaper and be giving you no free rent, no tenant improvement allowance, not doing any work in the premises. And these folks up here that are $5 more expensive, they could be giving you free rent, tenant improvement allowance, and or they're doing a build out or part or all of the build out. And so the value of all these things has to be incorporated in your final analysis. If you're looking at building A versus building B versus building C versus building D, it's not the rental rate that you should be comparing. It's the total occupancy cost that incorporates all these things that I've discussed. As always, my videos are not intended to give anybody any specific advice about their particular situation. This is general information so that you understand that these concepts are out there. If you want to talk about your particular situation, perhaps engage me as a broker and or perhaps an attorney, depending on the situation, give me a call. I'm at 443-529-0505. Again, 443-529-0505. You can also email me at elangert@thelangertgroup.com. That's elangert@thelangertgroup.com. And Langert is ELAN as in Nathan, GERT as in Thomas. Have a terrific day, and God bless you.